Good morning and welcome once again to Rose Red Homestead. I am sitting out by what we started as our kitchen garden last year. And we had some good success last year, but I made one big mistake, and that is I planted some of my heirloom tomatoes in this garden, which just took over everything. And once we took the tomatoes out, the things underneath had not thrived at all during the season, and over the winter they died. So we have chives in this end, and then in the other end we have our asparagus that has come up. So we're going to have to replant this year, which I'm going to do. Actually, it's a little late, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Jim and I have had so many projects going that we just haven't had extra energy to do a replanting of a garden we thought was going to last for a while. In any case, one of the things that is just we can count on every single year in the 14 years that we have lived here are chives. These are the chives. These were planted, I guess we planted them 13 years ago after we built this little raised bed right here. And they have overwintered and come back year after year after year after year. We had grand hopes when we first moved here. We wanted to do permaculture. We wanted sort of a food forest type of approach. And we were very energetic. Well, as we aged, that energy kind of went south. And we had to pare down what our expectations were to things that we could really do and do well. So we have kind of rethought a lot of those early ideas and just come up with this kitchen garden right here that we hope to turn into something that will really produce for us. So in terms of the chives, our question for this video is, why grow chives? But the number one reason is that they are edible. Everything in our kitchen garden we want, of course, to be edible. So the leaves are edible. As you know, if you've ever had a baked potato with sour cream and chives, that's what these chives are. The flowers are edible, and the chives is part of the allium family, the onion family, along with onions and garlic and a few others. It's a very mild tasting allium, which makes it very desirable. So we have really enjoyed these. The second reason is that they also have health benefits. Now, the health benefits for chives are not as robust as, say, they are for garlic, but they're high in vitamin A and vitamin K. And you can use them for culinary purposes in so many things. In dips and soups and stews and as garnishes for many, many foods, and I use them all the time. Third is that they are so hardy, as I have mentioned earlier, and they are resilient. We've had all kinds of storms come through, and these chives just keep coming back and producing. The flowers come on in the spring, and then they go away, and we're left with this bunch of, it looks like just sort of a grass, but they're quite lovely, we think. For number 4, they help fill empty spaces. You can plug chives in all over your yard to fill empty spaces, and they're beautiful to look at. Plus, they are edible, which makes it very nice. And you can use them for ground cover in areas where you're not going to be walking on, of course. And so that's what makes them also very desirable. The 5th reason that we have used them is that they are a companion plant for our kitchen garden. It goes well with all of the other herbs that we're going to be growing here and the other foods. So it is a great companion plant. And what makes it a great companion plant is that it attracts pollinators, which is our next good tip for why we grow it. It attracts pollinators. We have bees out here. Beneficial insects are attracted. And because it is an allium family member, the smell, that onion smell, repels pests. And so it does double duty for us. 7th is that they go great outdoors like this or in containers. So if you do container gardening, this is a great plant to have. I have a pot of chives growing in my kitchen in the bay window, so it gets lots of this very same sun that I'm sitting in right now. And then I have chives all winter long. These die back in the wintertime to ground level, and I trim them at ground level. And all of this growth that you see started at the very beginning of March. We're now at toward the last week of April, and so just within a few short weeks, we have this beautiful growth, and it stays lovely and green like this all summer long. Once the flowers have quit blooming, we just have the green. Then another thing, one of the things that we learned when we were doing permaculture here is that plants in an edible garden like this is, they can serve dual purposes or more than dual purposes. And one of the things that chives are really good at is they are what is known in permaculture as accumulators. Their roots go deep and they pull up potassium and calcium in particular, and that's what goes right here in these leaves. And so I can take a big clump of these wherever I want, and I just chop them and drop them by a plant that I would like to benefit from calcium and potassium. I can put them over on the asparagus on the ground, or I can actually put them by my iris. Now, iris aren't really edible. Some people think so. But the chop and drop is a delightful aspect of one of the very much positive reasons why to grow chives. If you grow a whole bunch of them, you can fertilize a lot of area by chopping and dropping the leaves as they come on, and then they just grow back. So that's what makes them really good. Now, another reason that they are so good to grow is that they are a great addition to our food storage. They are easily preserved, both the flowers and the leaves. So in this little jar, I have diced, and I did this about a month ago. I came out and harvested a lot of these little leaves, and with my new little scissors that you've seen that are great for it, they have multiple blades, so I can cut little tiny circles of these chives, and then these are dehydrated, so these can go right in our food storage. I could do the same thing for the flowers, but I'll tell you in just a minute what is coming up with the flowers. And they are edible, and they can go just dehydrated like this as a garnish, or just any way that you want to, even if you were using the fresh. So the way that I dehydrated these was not in my dehydrator. As you can imagine, because our dehydrators have a fan, these little bits of chives would be blowing all over the place. So I just laid them out on a little tray after I cut them, put them in a sunny window, and with in a few hours, they were just as dry and crispy as could be. So it didn't take very long to do this much. I could also dehydrate these, and I have done that before, and then you can crush those into soups and stews or put them in salads or whatever, because the flowers are very edible. Chives are very easy to grow. They just require They like a good rich soil. And so you see that we just always throw our autumn leaves on these beds, and over the winter the leaves break down and create a lot of good fertilizing soil that go around these, and these are just really thriving, so we're grateful for that. So one of the things that we are going to do with this in a few weeks is after this video, I'm going to come out and harvest these blossoms. And then I'm going to show you the coolest thing that you can do with those blossoms. And that video will be coming up in just probably, it takes a few weeks, but it will be coming up shortly. So watch for a video that starts off with chive blossom, and then that's your cue. Then you will know that I have harvested all of these blossoms to do what it is that we are going to do. So we highly recommend that you consider chives growing in your garden. Lots and lots of really good reasons to have chives around. One of the things as we think about food storage is that, if our regular supply chains break down and we can no longer have the things that we really like to have in the grocery store, and if we are eating our food storage, flavors are going to be really important. It is going to be very much to our advantage if we have certain things in our food storage that will add a pop of color or a pop of flavor, and that is why we really pay good attention to things that have good strong flavors, to include them also in our food storage, and chives certainly is part of that consideration. So I hope this has been useful for you. I hope you try some chives. Grow a pot in your kitchen, and then you don't even have to go out to your garden to harvest it. I just harvest from my pot in the kitchen all the time. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you soon for more videos, and watch for that chive blossom video coming up soon.